here to really share with everybody the most personal story that I have with Mom, and I invite you all to kind of be there with me. You see, the year is 1992, and I'm in my office, and I'm a travel agent, and the phones are flying off the hook. And of course I have an emergency. What's a day in the life of an office without an emergency? So I'm getting this ticket ready, and as I'm going to the ticketing counter, there's a brochure that catches my eye. And I pick it up, and it's a trip to Poland for heritage. And my entire childhood, the only thing I heard was stories about the shtetl, Ahaim. And this was a trip that would take me there. So in a nanosecond, I go back, I read the itinerary, and I'm on board. That night I go home and I call my mom and I say, Mom, you are not going to believe this. There's this trip to Poland that I signed up for. It's a heritage tour. And we're going to see all these towns that you had spoken to me about. The Heim, the shtetl, the communities, the Yiddishkeit. And there's a moment of silence. And my mother comes to me and she starts screaming. She says, are you out of your mind? Do you know what it took me to get out of Poland and you're going? Are you insane? And I said, Mom, no, I really do. I need to see this. This is heritage. I really want to know what this was all about. And she said, this is not for you to see. This is not for you to see. I don't want you to ever be there. And I said, Ma, I am going. And she goes, if that's the case, I'm going with her. I said, you're going with her? You out of your mind? Picture my mother, my height, severely diabetic. Not exactly the person you want as a roommate. I call her doctor and I say, hey, can she go? And he said, absolutely not. She could really go into diabetic shock. It's not for her to say. And I think I'm off the hook. Okay, Mom, you're off the hook. This is it. You're not coming. And she calls me and says, no, you don't get it. I'm going. You cannot go on your own. I said, Mom, we're 300 fellow Jews. It's not on my own. And she says, no, I do have to go with you. So we get on the bus, and picture us, we land in Poland. We're on the bus, we're driving towards Auschwitz. My mother is grabbing, and I mean grabbing my arm. Her fingers are penetrating into my hand, and she is white and sweating and pale. And she's shallow breathing. And we finally arrive and we get off the bus very, very, very slowly. And of course the famous scene, we look up and there's that big sign that does say Arbeit macht frei. And my mother grips me harder and harder and says, Rochelle, we are about to enter the gates of hell. Do you think, are you sure that we're going to be able to get out? Are you sure? And I said, Mom, it's okay, it's okay. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I said, Mom, we're okay, we can make this. And we go in very, very slowly. She's barely walking, a step at a time, a moment at a time. And she is narrating what went on there. All these stories, the atrocities, the sadness. And at the end of the trip, she literally brings herself to her knees and she looks up to the sky and she starts speaking to her mother. And she says, Mamenu, wir soll haben sie uns gekannt verbrennen lebendigkeit. How was it possible that they managed to burn us alive? How? And I want you to know that I survived and I have 3 gorgeous children. And today I came for you to meet your namesake, Rochelle Lisner. Because she now has to be the eyes and the ears to bear witness, because I'm old and I won't be able to do this longer. She is now the voice, because my voice will not be here too much longer. She will be the one that can tell the story now. And I sat there crying and sobbing, and at that very, very moment, I understood what it meant, door by door, generation to generation. I understood what my legacy was. I understood how important that momentary glance at a brochure and how it changed my life and how proud and honored I was to have experienced that precious, intimate, most loving moment with my mother. Woo!